Today we're going to write a recursive rule. Just like with our explicit patterns, when we write a recursive rule, we need a start value and a change value. Our start value is the place where x equals 0. Okay, so if you look at your table, right here you can see x equals 0, our y value is 2, that means we have a start value of 2. Now the other thing we need is to know what the change is in this table. So if I look at this pattern, I know for an arithmetic sequence it's either addition or subtraction, and I can see that this pattern is increasing by +6. So my change value is +6. Now when you have a recursive rule, it follows this pattern. Okay, the first line of your recursive rule starts out with this t of 0. Okay, this is function notation. T of 0, remember this means when x is 0, what's your value? This is your starting amount right here. Okay, so you're going to write t of 0 equals whatever your starting amount is. And then the second line of your recursive rule looks like this. Now this is a little more complicated. This is function notation. So t of x, this means for any x value, you need to start with x minus 1. T of x minus 1, this is your previous term. So what this rule says is for any term that you're trying to find, this is your any term right here. For any term you're trying to find, you first need to figure out your previous term, the term that comes right in front of it, and then you're going to either add or subtract your change to it. Okay? So this is what your recursive rule would look like if we were going to do it for this problem here. So t of 0, remember that's our starting value. So we're going to say t of 0 equals 2 because our starting value here is 2. Now, t for any value, we need our previous term, and then what we're going to do to that previous term is add 6 to it. So this is how you would write your recursive rule. Remember, everything over here that's written in black is always going to remain the same. The only part of this rule that changes is your start value and your change value. Now let me show it to you on a geometric sequence here. So again, we're going to start off with our start value. Our start values were x equals 0. So our start value here is 3. And then we're going to look for our change factor. Now this is a geometric sequence, and I can tell that because if I look at my pattern, I can see it's a times 2 pattern. And geometric sequences have multiplication or division patterns. So my change is times 2. Now remember, when we write this rule, it starts out t of 0 equals our starting amount. And then we're going to have t for any term is equal to the previous term, that x minus 1. And in this case, it's going to be times our change because we have a geometric sequence. So for our recursive rule, we're going to start off here. T of 0, our start value was 3, so we're going to put our 3 in there. And then we have t of any term is equal to x minus 1, the previous term, times 2, because that's our change factor. And that's how you write a recursive rule.